Welcome, my beautiful souls. So I woke up this morning and I just felt like something ancient is stirring. I feel like there's a message or messages that are waiting between the cards. One that was written long before this lifetime. Um, in the quiet glow of your soul's own agreements. What we're going to be reading is soul contracts. So soon I'll be revealing a tarot reading that really is like no other. It's a journey into your hidden architecture of your soul's contracts, the promises that you made, the lessons that you chose, and the pathways that are opening now. So if you've been feeling like deja vu, been having strange synchronicities, or you just have this pull of something is new, but you can't name it, this reading is for you. So we're going to lift the veil and we're going to look at soul contracts. It's very seldom that I already know what I'm going to call a reading before I've done the reading, but this is intuitively guided to me. And it's going to be in the silence between lifetimes, something awakens. And I feel like I'm doing this reading today when there's actually another reading I should be doing. But as I say that, Divine wants me to do this today. So, soul contracts. My beautiful loves, what we're going to do is we're going to use a few different tarot decks for this. And I'm just going to channel messages for you, but relating to soul contracts. So, soul contracts, that maybe you're just about to complete or is coming up to be due. And a soul contract is nothing you have to fear. It's something your soul wanted to accomplish in this lifetime. It was a soul's agreement. It can talk about love. I'm sure it will talk about love, because soulmates oftentimes have a soul agreement, to come into each other's lifetimes at a certain time. Doesn't mean you couldn't have met before, but then it didn't work out. It just wasn't its divine timing. Um, that reminds me of Sam and I's relationship. By the way, I did put, I am going to do a podcast because so many of you have asked about him and our relationship and how it came to be, that him and I are going to do a podcast. And I put a question out there for you, um, asking for your questions that you would like to ask Sam and I. So there is a post out there, um, where you can add a question if you have a question. I say that because, him and I are definitely a soul contract. I know that without doubt. Um, but, anyways, and then real quick, I want to let you know that a new package that I am now offering for a personal reading is a past life. And I'm not talking about with the cards, I'm talking about an audio recording, maybe a PDF, um, where I am looking back at the past lives that are having an effect in this lifetime. Whether that means a blessing or something you wanted to learn. Again, we'll probably pick it up in this also, but they're only $22, so I kept them rather cheap for those, who maybe always wanted a reading but couldn't afford one. Or you can do what I call a spiritual 2026 horoscope. So it's not really about the planetary actions. This is more about what's guided from your spiritual team, for each month. So there's a spirit message. Usually, it's up to your guides, but usually there's a spirit message. So, anyways, and you can always find that right below any video you're watching. It's in every single video. So let's go ahead and get into this reading. I'm excited. I know it's meant to be. So I have a feeling it's going to be, I want to say good, but let's say helpful. Very helpful, I hope. All right, I'm going to bring the lid down. And the decks we're going to use the Psychic Tarot, the Light-Seers Tarot, the Universal Tarot, and to clarify, if we need to, like if we want to look at something a little deeper, we'll use the Crystal Vision. So let's put all those aside. Let's put this aside. And by the way, everything is always pre-shuffled. I'm going to set these two aside, and we are going to start with the Psychic Tarot. So, I am going to give them a shuffle or two. And, even though they're pre-shuffled, I still like to kind of pick up on your energy. Who is this reading for? Really, anyone who finds it. And I say that because this is the type of reading I know that your spiritual team will put before you if it's meant for you. I just know that. I trust it and I release it. All right. And I also want to remind you, like, we're about to do someone's soul's contract right now. But I want you to understand that many of you could have very similar contracts. And I'm really looking at the contracts that are coming due. That's the goal. So let's begin. Wow, that didn't take long at all. All right. Positive movement forward. Number 8, a new beginning. Interesting. Awareness. This is the Magician. We're moving in. What's interesting is we have an 8, which is also the number of infinity. As above, so below. We already know that's true because this reading, I'm telling you, is divinely guided. And then it definitely looks like your chakras being activated. Like some type of awareness is being put in front of you. Like I feel like some type of awareness you cannot deny. Interesting, when I add the 8 and the 1, it's a 9. We're in a 9 year. And we're entering in 2026, the year of the Magician. So I definitely feel like some of you have a soul contract that's coming up, but I feel that it is nothing to fear. I don't even know why I'm saying the word fear because I feel the opposite. All right. Well, look at that. Your hopes, your dreams, your wishes. Under positive movement forwards. Here it's called hope. And then, oh my God, the Ace of Swords. Look what it says. Triumphant success. Some of you, I have a feeling there's something. Number one, look at this. The 11. And 11 often, like if I see 1111, I always make a wish. But I always wish it for my daughter. Like I always say, I take my wish and I grant it to my daughter. But look at this, even the 17, the 7 plus the 1 adds up to an 8, the 8 above it, the 1 and the 1, the synchronicities. So, again, this is my yes card, the Ace of Swords. And I feel like for some of you, this is about moving forward with something that I feel like is going to present itself to you. It may be out of the blue, but yet in in the same breath, I feel like it may be something that I don't know, like maybe I haven't had the opportunity to do before. Wow, I just realized 8 plus 1, 9, 7, 8, 9. Look how they're adding up. I feel like what this one is saying is end this year with a bang. Get excited about what's coming in 2026. And, it's interesting that we're seeing these ones. So I don't feel like this is saying this is something that is at the end of 2026. I feel like it's at the beginning. It is at the beginning. But you may have a lot to say about that because this eight means that you have to allow yourself to have this new beginning. And it is a dream, a wish that's coming to fruition. And some of you may question it like, oh my God, it just feels too good to be true. Can it be true? Well, I feel like that's why my guide sent out the Ace of Swords. That is my yes card. No, it's not too good to be true. Yes, you deserve this. This is your wish. And here is the opportunity to actually manifest it. What would you need to do? Put positive energy behind it. Believe it. Okay. Let's I went into this reading with no rhyme or reason, just that I felt called to do this reading. Okay, that's so interesting because I was going to take one card right in the middle. Okay, look at that. Some of you, I'm telling you, what I think about, I bring about. Like, understand that power you have within you. What you think about, you bring about. And if you put positive energy behind it, behind an already wish, dream, but make sure when I say that, understand like let's say this is talking about love, but and it could be a certain someone, but they've shown me nothing. Well, this is not that. This would be of a much higher vibration. I feel it and I know it. And I just know by the numbers alone. I find it so interesting how we have the two eights, the two ones, and both of them, both lines add up to nine, the end of 2025, the magician, the beginning of 2026. And look at the positive energy. You have a dream that's coming true. But then again, it was your soul's agreement. So let's just say your spirit self knows this. Now your human self is catching up to this. Interesting. And some may say, well, what is it? Well, I feel like that's all I'm meant to take. And maybe because I don't want to limit what it can be. This is your dreams, your wishes. And what this is saying is you have the ability to manifest them. Put the positive energy behind them. Maybe take a step forward. But I feel like the rest is just going to reveal itself. Like, I really think that's all you got to do. When I think about it, bring about, so think about those dreams. Put positive movement behind them. I feel like there's chakras being activated. It's like divine is getting you ready. And then this again is my yes card, but it literally says triumphant success. So let's say your dream is a business. My God, you want to do it. You want to do it. Okay, I'm going to close that message. And again, one message can be for many. Let's stay with the psychic tarot. Let's stay with it. I don't know why I'm shuffling or why I'm doing this again. But now that I did that, let's give them a cut. Maybe they just want to be cleared for the next message. All right. I'm shuffling. I feel like someone's out there saying, interesting. This type of reading she usually takes from the top of the deck, and she's shuffling. And you're right, because that's what I felt called to do this time. All right. Wow. Full, new beginning. I'm not surprised at the positivity that's coming out of these messages because I know you. I know many of you, on a soul level. And I know many of you have been working hard towards clearing your own energy. We can't control other people, there's a lot of things we can't control, but we can control ourselves. This is the full, a new beginning. Look what came out with it. No wonder I didn't switch decks. The Ace Pentacles. Prosperity begins. And by the way, if you just look at those two hands, they're not the same hands. They're two different hands. So, a new beginning. The Ace of Pentacles shows. And remember, the Ace of Pentacles, to me, it's a blessing. But I also feel it's a well-earned blessing. It means, to me, the Ace of Pentacles is a seed. And if I nurture that seed, which is exactly what they're doing, they're nurturing that seed, then it will only continue to grow and blossom. Every time I see this image, what comes to my mind is my Georgia peach. My Georgia peach. So I know some of you are either from Georgia or someone may have called you their peach. Interesting. All right, let's keep going. So right off the bat, it's calling for you, your soul, to allow you to be the full. You have to allow yourself, and that means you have to put the past in the past. This full has plenty of wisdom, and I even like how it's represented by, I don't know, an older woman, not an old woman, but just, someone who's lived some life. That means she's put her past behind her, and she's ready to begin anew. But she's got the wisdom, not only of this lifetime, really of every lifetime. But sometimes we don't find that until we need it. And then all of a sudden, there it is. It's like that. I say it all the time. I know when I know what I know. I don't always know how I know it, but I know it. Well, I relate that right back to my guides. The wheel. Hello, Destiny. Look at the messages already. But, womp. Eight of Swords. Self-created prison. Someone has put walls up. That means you're not in the Fool's energy. That means you are still living in the past. You haven't cleared something. Your higher self would tell you, whatever it is that you're fearing in this energy, don't fear it. We're so much stronger than what is you fear. We've been here, we've done it. And Eight of Swords, because it's self-created, literally when you put those walls down, when you take a chance anyway, it is freedom. So you go from feeling stuck to feeling free. But nobody can make that change but you. So this message is very clear. Like, I either am going to go after something, which is going to require me to be in the Fool's energy, or I'm going to stay in the Eight of Swords. And it literally tells you why this person built up these walls. Fear. You know, give it a name. Fear. I'm I'm done with letting you fear control my life. I'm pulling my power back. I feel like your guide is saying this wheel, it's about to move. And it's offering you a new beginning. And this new beginning, the one thing I love about the Ace of Pentacles is I don't feel like it's a one-time thing. I feel like once I accept that ace, I'm willing to nurture that ace, then I feel like it only continues to grow and throw off new seeds, new opportunities, new avenues that I can add into whatever I want to start, whatever new beginning I want to have. But listen, this is destined. This is destined. It literally says your destiny. Well, it says destiny. So this ace is pre-planted. It is a soul's contract. And it does mean it's coming into your physical world. But will the person in the Eight of Swords accept it? I doubt it. I doubt it. Not that it's impossible at all. It's more than possible. It literally is fear that put up those walls. So, it has to, I feel like it has to be the willingness to walk through that fear. And ask yourself, is this due, these walls, this prison that I created, is it due to other people, external factors, things that I can't control anyway? And again, the Fool, you, the one thing you can control. And I feel like that's all it's asking for you to do. Like, to put down the walls. For some of you, this is what this message is about. It's like showing you the promise of the potential of your future. But it's also showing real life. Because, I mean, let's face it, in the Age of Swords, the chances of me allowing a new beginning are slim to none. Or at least I feel like that's what someone is telling themselves. I know better. Like, I know as soon as you uncreate that prison, you enter into a state of freedom. And that's kind of what the Fool is. Free. Free from the past, free from limited thoughts. It doesn't mean that the Fool is in perfect condition. Doesn't mean that the Fool doesn't still have some broken pieces. But the Fool moves forward anyway. Wow. All right. So interesting. I'll tell you why. Oh, hello, Knight of Cups on the bottom of the deck. Could be an unexpected cup of fulfillment coming your way. Something made me see that Knight of Cups. Now, let's look at the Page of Pentacles. Page of Pentacles to me is everything I've learned along the way. It's a reminder that we are kind of like in this classroom, and Earth is like our classroom, and we're learning, we're expanding. That's what we're here for. Sometimes we can look back and once you've cleared it, you can look back and be like, okay, I see the lesson within that, but it did come out reverse. And man, like, I don't want you to block this opportunity. And I feel like there's not a lot I can do or even say because I feel like if you're in the Eight of Swords, if you're in that self-created prison, sometimes it's hard to reach that person. How do you tell someone who's living in I'm going to say a state of fear, but it doesn't mean like, you're fearful of everything in life. These walls that could have been relating to love. Um, Somebody just might be sick of people. Like all of a sudden I feel that, like I'm just sick of people. I'm just sick of people and the things that they do. But I feel like what this is saying is if you look at this with a different lens, a different perspective, and yeah, there's some shitty people out there. But what did I learn from it? What has it taught me? Every experience, I feel like we're either the teacher or the student. Our soul came here to learn, not to get stuck. So that is part of the lesson, how to free oneself after you've been stuck. Well, what if I tell you that your will, your destiny is moving forward with you or without you? Now, with you, of course, but will you accept this ace? Will you allow this new beginning? And I'm just going to take one more. Okay, wow. Nine of Swords. A lot of worry. You're not believing. You're not believing that life can be better, but it can be. This reminds me of some of the most difficult times in my life. And you think when you're in it, that's it. Like, I don't want to go on living, or, it's definitely showing how it goes from the Eight of Swords to the Nine of Swords. Let's talk about what the Nine of Swords means, though. Unnecessary worry. Unnecessary worry. I feel like this message is just saying that we have to learn to clear energy even when it's difficult. Our souls are strong enough. Our humanness is what gets stuck, not your soul. It's the human part of you. And I simply feel like I don't feel like this is, I mean, in a way, it's kind of blocking a blessing. But I feel like, all of a sudden I'm feeling very optimistic. Like maybe I did reach someone who will have that realization of, look what I'm doing. I'm holding back the blessings in my own life due to what was, who was. Unnecessary worry. Understandable, but it's still unnecessary. And the Page of Pentacles, I feel like, is saying to you, if you look at the situation through a different lens, again, what has your soul learned? And what does your soul want to let go of? So that something new can and will come in. This ace and the wheel, and just the reading that we're doing, soul contracts. This ace on your wheel, it is a soul contract, but it requires the energy of the Fool. not the Eight of Swords. So I feel like when this person, who is the only one who can do it, by the way, because it is self-created, when the uncreated, it is a sense of freedom. And again, I feel like how you can look at this, for many, is what I'm feeling is it is the past. It is the past. Don't let the past stop you from the potential of your future. Okay, I'm going to let that one be. I feel like, you know, sometimes with the Eight of Swords, the person will be ready when the person is ready. And I know that. And there's not a lot I know that I can do, or maybe even meant to do, other than to point it out. All right, let's move to the next one. Material and spiritual prosperity. Number 6. By the way, I should have told you in the beginning of the reading, this is a great time to know like what your life path number is, or what your personal year numbers is going to be in 2026. We have rejoice and celebration. And by the way, it's easy to figure out your personal life number. You would take the day you were born plus the month you were born, and then you add it to 2026, not your year of birth. So let's say you were born on the 6th, on the 3rd month, that would be a 9, and you add that to 2026. So, and that's actually a 1. And that would bring you to a 1. So you would have a personal year 1, if that makes sense. Anyway, look at this, material and spiritual prosperity, and then the 3 of Cups. And we're doing this in the month of December, though I have to tell you, this is that type of reading where they truly are timeless. And I know that. Like, I know it will reach you when you're ready, maybe. All right. We have the world. It's called the universe here. Look at that. 3, 21. 2 plus 1 is 3. 3 of Swords. And then we have, interesting, the Chariot. The Chariot. Wow, that looks like a completely different change of energy. 3 of Swords, well, it literally says heartache and loss. But then right above it is about rejoicing and celebration. Here's another energy where I feel like the chances of you having gone through some type of heartache, I feel like are high. But at the same time, again, that was yesterday. This is about what is coming in, and it's interesting because what was I forgot what I was just going to say. What was I just going to say? Dang it. I don't know. Okay. Anyway, let me tune back in. So the 3 of Swords was something that happened to you that was really outside of your control. External. Not internal. External. So that could mean like you literally lost someone, or someone crossed over. I hate to say you lost them because you didn't lose them. They're right there beside you. I know that. And I hope you can believe me with that. But they are. They're right there beside you. And I feel like this is someone's loved one or loved ones who are stepping forward because they know of this heartache. But there is still movement here. This is about, again, what's yet to come. The universe, to me, is representing 2026. The universe means something has come to completion. And can I say, for some of you, I feel like someone has crossed over, and I may say, like that didn't seem fair or what have you, but I'm feeling very strongly that it was their divine time. Like, like their soul knows that now, their spirit knows that. Like this was my time. And it could have been someone who you may have said left this world too early. Now, that doesn't mean they had been young. Okay. So I get what they're saying. Like, we're right there beside you. And I feel like this Three of Cups, where it's asking you, to rejoice instead of have the sadness. It is a change of energy. 333. Who's reading Scorpio's reading? I did, where they received three threes in a row together. They all came out together. So I looked it up, and what a powerful message. So you may want to look that up, 333. I feel like the chariot sitting kind of outside of the reading is talking about balance. Now, all of a sudden, I'm picking up that this is also talking about divine feminine and divine masculine energy. So we may have some twin flames here. And I feel like it's the potential of moving forward. Again, remember, what we're doing are soul contracts. Now, does someone have the right, let's say a soul contract is now due. Do I have the right to say no to it? You do. But then you may have to come back in another lifetime for that lesson. Like everything I feel like our soul wanted to learn this lifetime. Um, but yet then we get stuck for whatever reason. Then I feel like our soul comes back. Now, maybe you don't want to come back. Well, then you want to learn these lessons. And I don't even like saying it like that. You want to allow your soul to evolve through your experiences, both hard and joyful. You know, I feel like someone has or is reaching a state where they feel pretty good in their money. And I don't feel like this is the end because I feel like for some of you, you're just beginning something. But yet, I also feel this sense of seeing the fruits of your labor now. I love this image because I feel like this person is like looking over their grounds with this sense of gratitude. Like, look what I have built. I have built this. I have built this. Now, there could have been collaborators along the way, what have you. But it could have started with your epiphany, and that's what I love. Sometimes just the epiphany alone is what turns out to be a very successful business. But it's not just your material prosperity, it is also spiritual prosperity. You know, I just want to say with the world here, we know that something has come to completion. And the only thing that looks like it would want to come to completion is the Three of Swords. Now, that doesn't mean, again, that you feel completely restored, but you will be on your way to feeling that way. Like you will feel restored again. You will feel balanced again. I know it. I feel it. Um, but you also got to be willing to let what is ready to end, to let it end. So what wants to begin can begin. And by the way, it has nothing to do with the Three of Swords. It's the opposite energy. Three of Swords is what was, maybe still is, but it's not what wants to be part of your future. The Chariot, which here is called Triumph. Once you feel balance, once you have balance, I should say, then it really speaks about unlimited potential. All right, let's take a crystal vision in between or with it. Eight of Cups. That's perfect. That is you finding emotional clarity. That is you putting the past behind you. And this is you heading towards the Nine of Cups, inner harmony. But not just inner harmony, also fulfillment of wishes. Some of you, that's what you're heading towards. So the clearing of the emotional house. Well, we know that's a Three of Swords. And again, I feel like it's something that was outside of your control. Like I didn't have a say so in this. But I guess I do have to accept it. But this eight is about allowing yourself to have this new beginning also. So I do feel like something emotional happened. And if it was a loved one who crossed over, I'm telling you, their message is it was their time. And I know that's hard to hear. I know that with my own son. It was his time. It was his soul's contract. And would my son, I spent my time in the Three of Swords after my son left this world. Of course I did. But the more I seek the light and clarity, the more I received it. The more I understood that, yes, he's not here physically, but spiritually, always and forever. And I feel like, though I'm talking about my son, I feel like some of your guides, some of your loved ones don't want you to cry over them. Yes, go through your grieving period. But I feel like they want you happy. There's a lot of life left for you. And like this is not your time. This is not your soul contract's time. You have more living to do. You have more prosperity to create. And I feel like this is just the beginning. I want to see if anything else wants to come out. Well, it did. Hello, Ten of Pentacles. Look at that. And why is that beautiful? Because we opened up this reading with material and spiritual prosperity. Well, that's exactly what I call the Ten of Pentacles. And as myself being a Virgo sun, Ten of Pentacles is like, if I'm going to think of my ultimate goal, I would rather have the Ten of Pentacles than the Ten of Cups, because I feel like both will exist. You know what I mean? But this is the house of abundance. This is a house that can truly take root. Whatever you're creating, if you so allow, this, like when it says material and spiritual prosperity, like Ten of Pentacles, boom, there it is. Oh, there it is. And who's creating that? You. But there may be someone else with you, because I never feel you're alone in the Ten of Pentacles or the Ten of Cups. I feel like it's a household. This person has all they need and more. And I feel like if I have more, then I help. Because that's where your spiritual prosperity is coming in. Some of you, you're taking some of this sadness, hardship that you've been through, and there will be a day soon where you're going to help others. You're going to help others overcome exactly what you had to overcome. And that may be part of the soul's agreement. That is part of the soul's agreement. And I just want to look at the Chariot. I don't know why I'm spending so much time in this one, but we have the Devil, card of Capricorn. Can talk about temptations, Three of Cups, and then interesting, the Three of Wands. You know, it's interesting, I was talking about my son, because I'm going to be honest, it was alcohol that took my son out. And I don't know why I feel that. Like, for some of you, I don't know, there's something about alcohol. There's something, and this is what was. This is not what is, or if it is, like, let's say that you're with someone who drinks a lot, but then when they do drink a lot, they make bad decisions. And you may have been on that receiving end of that bad decision. But the Three of Wands is, well, I feel like this is you moving on. This is you getting back in life again. Three of Wands is optimism. It's saying to divine, I know my ships will come in, and I know that they'll come in their divine time. The universe is saying something has come to completion. We have to just accept that. But that doesn't mean, because, you know, it means there's a rebirth. There's a rebirth about to take place in your life. And I feel like it's changing your energy. You're going from a state of what feels like sadness into realization and then into optimism. And then I feel like you're unstoppable again. So, somewhere along the way, you were unstoppable. Something knocked you down, but now you're becoming unstoppable again. Okay, I'm going to let that one be. That was quite a message. All right. I think let's go ahead and change decks now. Let's do a few more, but let's do it with the Light-Seers next. And I do have to say, I will timestamp these. Part of me doesn't want to, because I feel Maybe I won't timestamp them. The reason why I'm saying that is I feel that one message is going to relate for many. And that's why I'm getting the sense like I don't have to do 20 readings because you're going to relate to one of these readings. All right. Light-Seers, what say you? Light-Seers, soul contracts, Nine of Swords. Mm. Hello, son. Card Leo. Interesting. Double Leo. Strength card. The Sun. Do you think something is trying to, in a way, I want to say awaken you, awaken your soul? Now we have someone else who potentially is in a sad state, is worried about things that, again, are outside of my control. But how beautiful that the sun shows now. And I want to say the Nine of Swords, 9, we're in the universal year 9. And then boom, the sun, 9 plus 1, 10, the year of the magician. Some of you are like, what's this? Like, I feel like you've been hiding under a rock. And I do feel like there was a difficult lesson that your soul wanted to learn. But here's the thing. I feel like because your soul knew, now it's not, I wanted to learn this lesson so I could have the blessing, but your soul knew that. Like, there will be a blessing after this lesson. Strength card is you getting to know you, all of you. You know, this person's half lion, half woman, half human. And to me, what it really represents is courage. The courage not to let worry take me down. And if I am in this state of worry, then I want to examine it because the sun will illuminate it for you. And again, it is about unnecessary worry. But listen, it's still worry. I don't know why the strength card reminds me of the Empress. You know, the lion part of her, but also the gentle little lamb there. Like the Empress knows who she is. This person has an 8 tattooed on their arm, the infinity symbol. It's like someone's realizing that they're a lot stronger than they thought they were. I feel like for some of you, there's something that you've just overcome that wasn't easy, but I feel like you did. The Fool, there you go. And connected to the sun, and there's the Tower. So this is what I feel for some of you, you've just overcome. The Tower is disruption in our lives. Often feel sometimes someone fell from grace. Again, the worry is connected to this tower. And this could be something that you thought you couldn't overcome, but yet then you do. You know, we're so much stronger than we think. And sometimes we don't realize how strong we are until we're knocked down to our knees. And then we start seeking that light. And that's all you have to do. Seek it, and ye shall find it. Because I feel like that's exactly what's happening here. I'm seeking the light, and you're finding it. So again, another foal, another new beginning. but in the sun's energy after the fact. That means whatever happened in the tower for you, that this is not part of your future. This was part of your past. And I have a feeling the lesson for the soul here was to learn how strong you really are. Remember, soul contracts aren't just about blessings and like, I want to create a business, though that is part of them, or I want great love. That is part of them. But it's also the lessons of life and the things that we overcome that only help us to evolve. And again, the symbol of not bringing this tower's energy along for the ride. It's yesterday's news. That Nine of Swords is saying, don't worry about it. Don't put a lot of fear behind it. The sun is going to help illuminate your next steps for you. And the Fool, all you need to do in the Fool's energy is take one step forward. Remember, it is about a leap of faith. You can always change direction. But I feel like once you step on this new path, you're not going to want to change direction. But you can. And that's why I tell you that. So I don't want you to ever feel like, oh, okay, well, now I'm stuck on this path for 9 years. No. If your intuition is telling you, this doesn't feel right, trust that. Especially with the sun here. Like, I feel like whatever soul contract is coming due, it will be illuminated. It will be very clear. And it is about a new beginning. Even if it's something old again, sometimes like someone can come back and and that's my life. Someone can come back, but it's still new. It's like when Sam and I reconnected, we both had to be the Fool because we didn't know each other as adults, so to speak. All right, let's bring the crystal vision out. Interesting, we have double Leo though. The Eight of Pentacles. So the Eight of Pentacles. This is the willingness to go into something as the apprentice, knowing that if you keep your focus on it, one day you will call yourself the master teacher, or others will call you the master teacher. This is taking anything, an epiphany, and creating from it. And, I often feel one of the best places to refocus our mind when we're in a period of strife is our creative house. I feel like it's our saving grace, whether it be you actually creating or putting music on, something like that. But for some of you, I feel like the soul contract that's coming due is something that you are building. You are building it. All right. And another 8. So probably new, but you might already have a lot of wisdom. Interesting. The Emperor, who I often feel is a business owner. He's in reverse. And maybe for some, you may not have the belief that you can truly be, the Emperor is someone I call the leader of the people. And the Emperor leads through the experiences that the Emperor has gone through, the things the Emperor has overcome. This is someone who's methodical, puts plans in place. And for some of you, I feel like that is what this is saying. Like, I may want to begin something, and your soul is probably calling you towards it, but maybe you're just a little nervous about it because, again, that worry. It very quickly, it answers that question. Like, if I'm worried about, like, I want to do a business, but who the hell am I? How do I know I'll be successful? You will be. Your soul wants this. You just need to believe in yourself. Some of you, it may take putting plans on paper. Doesn't mean you have to follow them to the T, but as they come to you, write them. Like as ideas come to you, write them. I have books just full of like things that come to me, and I write them down because I know I'm going to forget them. And then, it's interesting. Sometime I'll pick up that book and I'll just go through the papers. I'll be like, oh, and that becomes my next reading. That's just so. It may simply just say, don't give up your dream because number one, you don't think you know everything yet. You'll learn it as you go. You know a lot more than you think you know. But it could be like literally like, but I'm not business smart. Well, that may be why the Emperor came in reverse. Doesn't mean the Emperor doesn't have the same abilities. Just means I'm not using them. The Eight of Pentacles can answer a question no matter what we're in, if we're in a love reading. And it's the way it answers it is it's a reminder that whatever you focus on is what you're going to grow. It's like having a devil on one shoulder, an angel on another. Which one am I going to feed? That's the one that will grow. Do I feed the light or do I feed the shadow? And sometimes we do need to feed the shadow, but not here. This is about the sun. This is about illumination. This is about some of you receiving these epiphanies that I'm telling you are going to be a business. And you may have tried before, and maybe you would say, I failed. But I wouldn't say that you would fail. I would say that that was a learning experience. Okay, I tried it that way. Well, that didn't work. Well, now I know that. Believe in yourself like your spiritual team believes in you. Not only that, but the sun really does represent illumination. And it's illuminating the fool's steps. You are the fool. And whatever towers have happened, and for some of you, you could have lost a job. But here's what I feel like the soul contract is. I feel like it starts like an epiphany, an idea. And some of you may have had this idea in 2025, but then just didn't do anything about it. But again, I don't know that you were meant to. Maybe you were just meant to reflect. You could use the rest of this year to maybe put plans in place and really trust that you can be the master teacher. You can help lead through your empathy, your compassion. And I know that for many of you, you know who you are now, inside and out, and that is important. And some of you are taking that very knowledge and creating out of it. It's what I do. Doesn't mean you have to be doing it like I'm doing it, but it is like what I do. And it did start with an epiphany, like it was guided. And this is guided. This is a soul contract. I almost feel like here, I don't almost feel, I know there's a few who have a life path 8, and your soul came here to build this material world. And there's no reason to be sorry for it. Like, I feel life path 8 comes into this lifetime, like I should look it up, but I have a feeling some of our biggest, most successful people could be a life path 8. Now, that's just one thing, but I do know there's going to be some of you here, or you're moving into a personal year 8. Okay, gonna pick this up. And let's stay with the Light-Seers. And then I think we'll move to the Universal Tarot. Chariot, card of Cancer. Another thing about the Chariot, because we've gotten the Chariot a few times, is your intentions are what moves this Chariot. If you have no intentions, the Chariot doesn't move. Whoa, okay. Hello, Ten of Cups. Look at that Chariot moving right towards it. We got quite a few, so we're going to take it by threes. 2 of Wands. Hello, Magician. Wow. With the Chariot, powerful energy. 5 of Cups under the 10 of Cups. Interesting. Hello, Ace of Pentacles. And then the 10 of Wands. But I want you to look at this image. This is the perfect image for what I'm feeling. If you look at this woman, she used to live at the top of this mountain. The mountain is now barren. Nothing left. Nothing to fuel her, feed her. Nothing to help her soul grow. There's no love up there. So she left. She took whatever she could carry and left the rest behind. Because she knows she's about to go on a new journey. She's going to find a new mountaintop. And that's where she can create her new haven. So, this 10 of Wands, heavy. Yes. Hard. Yes. Does it make us move? Yes. She's willing. And, it's interesting because I feel like I've been her. I feel like I've been everyone. But I've moved many times with what only I could carry. Even here, I can only bring 2 suitcases with me. So, wow. All right, let me look at this for a second. I feel like there was a breakup. I feel like what once was a happy home changed. I feel like one of the reasons why it changed is because someone wasn't pulling their weight. Now, Do I kind of feel that this was meant to end? I do. Like, I don't feel like the universe is upset that this ended because I feel like it's exactly as it was meant to be. And, let's just look at this again from a soul contract. So the Ten of Wands, also part of that soul contract. What did I learn? That when something is done, it's done. In the Ten of Wands, it means that the responsibility to keep a love together fell on your shoulders. And that, even though your soul learned from this, and probably quite the lesson, and here comes the blessing. So that Chariot, for me, is you moving on. And yes, I do feel like at one time there was a happy home, but it didn't stay that way. And because I feel the power of this woman in the Ten of Wands, the power of knowing when something is over, it's over for her. And how she's connected not only to the Two of Wands, but the Ace of Pentacles. She's literally telling the universe, this is done. This is over. I want a new adventure. But she's putting in the action, right? She's making that movement. And she's not thinking negatively. She's thinking like what adventures lie out there. Because some of you, this is exactly what's about to happen. Like there's a new adventure that's going to come into your life. And I feel like in the Two of Wands, this is you. I feel like this Two of Wands is also a great image because you can see this one staff or wand against the wall. It's kind of like it's a symbol to me that she's leaving that staff behind. She's looking out the window. She's got a map, the globe. Like, where do I want to go? She's feeling that the world is her oyster. And where do I want to go with that? She's leaving someone behind. But not because she didn't try, she or he. Quite the opposite. But I feel like, let's just say the love had drained out of that cup. But here's the thing. The Ace of Pentacles. Boy, something is telling me this is someone. This is a person. And it's mirroring the Magician. Again, the Magician, the manifester, but also the representation of 2026. And it's not even that. I feel like she's looking, let's say, for love. She just feels like she's in this adventurous state, but maybe hasn't moved quite yet. I love the Two of Wands because it means you're about to step on a path full of adventure, passion, but it's also action oriented. This is not about you sitting back and doing nothing. Quite the opposite. Like she's like, where do I want to go? What do I want to do? Some of you, you're already on the move. The Chariot is like the vehicle. Some of you, it's your actual vehicle. You're getting in your car and you're leaving. Let's just put it this way. I do not feel like there was balance between the feminine and the masculine in here. I'm not going to say it was bad the whole time, but it got bad enough. And, we could keep talking about the past, but I feel like this person doesn't want to talk about the past. I'm clearing that. This is about where am I going? Well, that Ace of Pentacles is like, we have the Four of Cups makes complete sense in this reading because this is about discontentment and boredom in one's emotional world. I know that's what she feels in the Ten of Wands and in the Five of Cups. Discontentment. Again, I feel like a cup is empty. But the beautiful thing about the Four of Cups, number one, the message. Well, it has a couple different messages. Discontentment, boredom within your emotional world. It asks you to use your spiritual discernment. Why? Because in the Four of Cups, a cup is coming in. A cup is coming in. And I feel like this is saying I can either continue to look at what was or start to get a little excited about the potential of what will be. I feel like I have to take another one. Seven of Wands, the Ace of Cups. There's that cup that is promised within the Four of Cups. Now it actually showed. The Star. Your hopes, your dreams, your wishes. Seven of Cups. And then the Page of Wands. I know exactly what this is saying. I feel like what this is saying, I don't feel like what this is saying. This is what it's saying. Some of you dealt with a relationship where I definitely feel like you tried. And I feel like that's all you can do. You tried. I feel like you know that you've tried. And I just feel like it's now barren. But I have a feeling it was meant to end because this Ace of Cups, and I knew this was talking about love for you. Not only is it representing a cup that's coming in, we know that through the Four of Cups, but then that cup literally shows, and it's touching that Ten of Cups. So, yes, I may not have had that Ten of Cups that I had dreamt about with a certain someone, but that doesn't mean that you're not going to have that Ten of Cups and unconditional love within it. Now, another thing I love, kind of, is then we get the Seven of Cups. So this is you deciding whether you accept that cup or not. So that tells me that this cup is coming in towards you. Again, soul contracts, so soulmates. It doesn't mean you'll say yes. However, what came out with it? The Page of Wands, my risk taker. My risk taker. A person who, if I feel passionate about it, I'm going to give it a shot. This is someone who has learned through their lives that not all things pay off, that I am going to fall off the horse, but I'm going to get back up and I'm going to get back on that horse. And I'm going to take that cup and I'm going to let love me. Excuse me 1 second. Okay, sorry about that. I was only gone a second. The love of my life just knocked at my door. Come knock at my door. All right. Anyways, wow. Wow. So, long story short, those who are this part of the reading is for, this is love. This is real love. And I get the sense that you deserve this real love. I feel like for some of you, you've tried maybe over and over, and it can be in different relationships. So I would ask yourself, because this doesn't feel like it is your soul's contract, and this is love. So that means that any love before this was the stepping stone to this love. What did it teach you? What have you learned? That's why I love this image. That's probably why I really pointed it out. This person knows that that mountaintop is barren. Why would I stay there? This person knows that when they walk away from a situation, they've tried, and that's all you can do. This person is getting excited about the potential of what lies out there. And I do have to say, I do feel like many of you don't expect this, though. As I say that, I feel like your soul may have been giving you some real clues. Not only is this talking about love of the highest, and it is of your wish, so your soul's wish. But then the Ace of Pentacles means it is literally coming into your physical world. So it's not just a conversation over a long distance phone, or, you know what I mean? Like talking to someone, who lives countries away from me. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. And that may be how some meet people. Um, and I feel like it's just going to happen naturally, to be honest. I feel like all this is saying is keep your eye to the sky. Stay excited about your potential. Be in that Two of Wands. Let go of what needs to be let go of. Like, if a house has gone dry, accept that. Because this is moving you towards, I feel like, not that you weren't with soulmates before, because you probably were, and some of them may have been karmic. But this feels like your true love soulmate. And this is its time. And I have to say, this is usually how I find love comes in after something difficult. And it doesn't always have to be like I just ended a relationship, but I feel like because you feel different here, you feel ready for the adventure, whatever it may be. And I love that the star is actually touching the Two of Wands. So do I feel like your soul's going to manifest this? And I don't feel like you have to manifest it. I just feel like it's going to happen. It's just going to happen. And the Seven of Cups puts the ball in your court. Do you or don't you? I think you will. I think you will. I can't guarantee everybody will. So I think the best thing, once again, is just to put a foot in the water. How does the water feel? Okay, I'm going to pick that up. It's interesting because I really expected like a lot more love readings, and some of them are talking about love. Um, anyway, let's go ahead and bring out the Universal Tarot. We'll do a couple, and then I'm going to let that be, um, and let you guys tell me if you, number one, if you related to the reading, if you enjoy the format, you know what I mean? Like, these are, I don't know. Like, this is just things that I feel like my guides, why do I always say I feel? I know that my guides wanted me to do this reading. Um, but none of that matters if it doesn't resonate with you. Okay. Then my guides are like, I get the message like, why would we have you do the reading if it didn't matter to them? Which is true. The Four of Cups. Okay. There's that cup coming in again, different deck. In this image, you can see that cup coming in. She's not looking at it. She's looking at these cups that were. That doesn't stop this cup. Oh, hello, sun again. Illuminating that cup. Well, that cup is probably part of the soul's agreement. That's another thing I find with soulmates. For as long as I've been reading, often you'll hear, or I'll get where, like, you have overcome, like, this lesson, and then boom, a soulmate comes in. Do I feel like it always has to be after a lesson? I don't. I feel like whenever your soul agreed to it. Interesting. The King of Cups in reverse, which I do not like. It reminds me of my ex-husband. This is someone who you can't trust emotionally. This is someone who probably flirts. And by the way, I feel like this is someone who was. The sun illuminates it for you. I don't like the King of Cups in reverse because I feel like he has no problem giving his love to others. What about me? What about me? What about you? Do you love me? Yeah, I love you. Not the type of love that I'm looking for, though. You don't love me the way my soul is craving. You love yourself. You're self serving. The hangman. Some of you are in that energy right now. And the sun is illuminating someone's actions. But here's the thing I feel like you're very aware. Maybe you hope that it would change. But with the King of Cups in reverse, I don't think it changes. Ace of Cups under the sun. It's like your guides are making you aware of someone's energy who is not, I hate to say not faithful because I don't want to hurt anyone, but there's something. There's something they're doing on the sly. And the hangman here is you seeking wisdom for your next steps. Well, the sun will also help illuminate that. That cup that's coming in the Four of Cups, here it is. Two of Pentacles in reverse. I feel like if I'm questioning, is this Ace of Cups belong to them? The answer is no. I don't know that I ever see the Two of Pentacles in reverse, which is weird, but here it is. And, some may read that as a yes. I am not reading it as a yes. I feel it as a no. This cup is a cup of fulfillment. It is love, but it is not with this king. Now, doesn't mean you have to leave the king if you're still with this king. That's up to you. But I feel like it's saying, it's very clear. This person's not going to love you in the way you deserve. And again, it's not your fault. So don't put the blame on you. It's them. It's, and it's the way they choose to live their life. Trust me, they'll have karma to pay. And that's all you need to know. You know what I mean? Like, their karma will come. Everyone's karma comes. And they're creating some bad karma right now. All right. Crystal vision. For some of you who were seeking wisdom on your next steps, I feel like here's your answer. It's telling you, don't give up on love because of someone who didn't know how to love. That's their issue. And don't take that on personally, even though it's hard not to. I get that, right? But honestly, this person just doesn't know how to love. This may have been a free will choice, or this could have been a karmic soulmate. And I can tell you, if it's karmic, well, they didn't learn their karma, right? They didn't complete their karmic lesson. Matter of fact, they're just adding more and more to it. Where you, I feel like, have the opportunity to complete that. And then when you complete it for life. I should have said more than that. You complete it for eternity. You have temperance, divine timing. And what is temperance always doing? Mixing the loving waters of two soulmates, making sure that both their cups are equally filled. So you have divine on your side. And temperance talks about trusting in divine timing. Also card is Sagittarius, and look at that. That's exactly what needed to happen. Beautiful. I say beautiful, but I know that it's not easy. I know that. Six of Swords is that walking away from toxicity. I feel like that's what Temperance is waiting for. When she talks about divine timing, what she's saying is, to bring this cup in while you're still involved with this, it just wouldn't make sense. And I feel like between this, first of all, this is you realizing that something was toxic within this. Well, we know it's the king because he's in reverse. And I know this king in reverse very well. And I feel like that two of swords or that two of pentacles came out to say no. And then you leaving, that makes sense. Six of swords, you can see the energy, cold, icy. But this person is heading towards their soulmate tribe. And I feel like, in particular, one soulmate, love. How beautiful when temperance comes out, when it talks about love. I feel like the hangman and temperance are kind of working together. So if you're seeking the wisdom, you're going to find that wisdom. The sun will illuminate it. You have to face it. Some of you already have, and you may have already moved on. Well, then I would say get ready for this Ace of Cups. So let's just see. Five of Pentacles. You know, that makes sense because in the Five of Pentacles, you're not feeling so happy. You know, it is things that happen outside of your control, yet you're the one who ends up feeling hurt in it. But it's temporary, temporary, temporary. And another energy of someone moving towards their soulmate tribe. And then look at this, the Knight of Wands. Well, I feel like that is activation of this Ace of Cups and the Three of Pentacles. Now, let me tell you why this is so important. Because in the Three of Pentacles, it's about celebrating who you are. It's your individuality and being proud of that. And not everyone is going to get you. Not everyone's going to be able to love you the way you deserve. And maybe that's part of what your soul has been learning, what you do deserve. And you know what's interesting? I often feel in the Three of Pentacles that whoever you're going to love, because this is about love, they're going to love you for exactly who you are. You don't have to change. They don't have to change. This is about each appreciating each's authentic self. This could be a secret admirer. Some of you may already know who this person is. And they may have heard you left the king. She left the king. She left the king. And remember, a knight completes their mission come hell or high water. And I feel like what this knight is doing is activating passion within you. Because you are about to fall in real love. I'm not going to say that this wasn't real love, but let's just say it wasn't soul love. This is a soulmate. This is a soulmate's timing. And I do feel like Temperance is saying that it is important that at least in your mind that you're walking away from this old situation. Whether you've physically done it yet or you just know that you're going to. That's good enough. Just knowing, right? You will bounce back. You will bounce back better than ever. And let me tell you, for those who have any thought about this king, it will be very fleeting. Because when you're in this love, you'll laugh at that love. You'll laugh at that king. It is night and day, but it's divinely guided. Number one, it means there was something to learn. And sometimes it's just simply learning I'm not going to let someone else's toxicity make me not enjoy my life. If I'm unhappy, I have opportunities to make changes. Even if they're baby steps, it's still putting you in the right direction. Wow. So, how interesting. Our two biggest love messages come towards the end. That makes me again think of not putting timestamps on, though I know for some it'll drive you crazy. All right, I'm going to do one more because I just don't want it to be too long. And then we will let it be. So, one more for the collective. Oh, there I am, shuffling them again. So, oh, okay. You're staying out. The Eight of Wands. What I think about, I bring about. Fast moving energy. You know, in my mind, I often picture four of those wands are your intentions you're sending out into the universe, and four of the wands is that intention coming right back to you. So you want to know what intentions you're putting out there. Another way of saying that is planting seeds. Like, keep planting seeds. Also in 8, a new beginning, we have the Page of Cups. I often feel the Page of Cups is like your inner child. But a page can also talk about what's in the atmosphere. And this page is holding a cup. So we'll see. We have the Seven of Wands. It's about standing your ground. I guess we're taking 3 across. 5 of Cups again. The Chariot. Well, I'm telling you, you guys are not taking the bullshit that you took a year ago. You're just not taking it. You have evolved so much so that those who choose to live life a certain way, but it doesn't fit your way, you're just saying enough. It's like you're reclaiming your power. You're understanding, like getting stuck in the past does you no favors. High Priestess, your intuition. That's what you want to trust, your intuition. And since this is the last one, I just wanted to look at the bottom of the deck, the Nine of Wands. So interesting, you have the 7, the 8, and the 9 of Wands. 9 of Wands, though, is the reflection. And again, we're in the 9 year. And 9 always is about final reflection. We're not meant to get lost in reflection. What have I learned? In the 9 of Wands, it is really looking back. And what you're saying to yourself is, look how much I have grown. This person, who I call my spirit warrior, busting out of their clothes. These are spiritual muscles. Spiritual muscles that you've gained due to the experiences, the adventures, and everything you've overcome. Everyone behind this person is an adventure, something they've been through, something they've definitely overcome. And this is why I give them the title of my spirit warrior. And then even underneath that, the 3 of Wands. It's like a different way of looking at life through an optimistic lens. And even going back one, the 10 of Swords. What was? It's like you're saying, I'm not taking daggers in my back anymore. I am not living that way anymore. I am going to stand up for myself. but not to people that, to energy that doesn't matter. And I'm not saying people don't matter. What I'm saying is if it doesn't fit your life or your goals, you're saying no more. I feel power, a lot of power in this reading. Like a lot of someone knowing who they are now. It's like you have found yourself. You have found your soul. Your soul. All right, let's take the crystal vision. The Five of Cups. Interesting because we have the Five of Cups right there. Three of Swords. The Unknown card. And I'm going to take one more. It's kind of going across the spread. And then we'll talk about it. Look at that. The Ace of Wands been in reverse. All right. I just want to know why the Ace of Wands came in reverse. I mean, I kind of know. I kind of know. The Five of Swords. Well, that makes sense. So, okay. So, what I'm feeling is for some of you, again, it is that energy of someone who broke your heart. And you may have broke their heart. Because I feel like here I have two people who had their heart broken. This is interesting. This is interesting because I feel like here we may have someone of yesteryear returning, or we're returning to each other's lives. I feel like the Ace of Wands in reverse. I feel like it's, the Ace of Wands is action oriented. It is passion ignited. That's really what it is. It ignites the passion within you. Sometimes I feel like it's the fire that's underneath our butt, right? Making us move. But I feel like what this is saying is there could still be some energy that would serve you to at least examine if this is about love that's coming back together again. I just realized we have three fives. So that could be changes, definitely changes. And I feel like the changes are a good thing. Okay, so this is what I'm picking up. I'm picking up that this is about the two people who were together. I feel back in the day. Like I feel back in the day. Now, I don't know how long that is, but it feels like it didn't happen yesterday. Matter of fact, I get this feeling that you have been in relationships since then, and probably both of you. But I get this sense that true fulfillment had not been found. I've been in love, but I've never felt the love that I felt for another. I could not find that fulfillment again. And unbeknownst to you, I feel like they're saying the same thing. I feel like this is about a soul contract that is due, that's coming due, and it is love. But I feel like one of the most important aspects of this love was that each reflected upon their own ways. Each had to get to know themselves, the good, the bad, the ugly. Each had to take responsibility for, maybe the things I didn't know then. I didn't know better, but now I do. And I feel like this is saying also, this is not about moving quickly. Because I do feel there's going to be a little bit of uncertainty. Yet I feel your souls are being called back together. So I feel like when you first connected, I have a feeling your heart chakra was activated. But then you didn't stay together. So external influences, let's just say. But it feels like it happened just the way it was meant to happen. And I know sometimes that can be hard to hear. What do you mean? I was meant to go through the Three of Swords? Sometimes. Who can be a better lover than someone who knows what it's like to get their heart broken? And I'll tell you one of the reasons why I cannot cheat, because it was done to me and because of how much pain it causes. It is unbelievable pain. You know that. I know that. And that's why I can't do that to another, even if they deserved it. Like that King of Cups in the last reading, that was my ex. And he was a cheater. Major. Right from the get-go. Like to the point where I literally asked him, "Why'd you ask me to marry you? I didn't need to get married." Matter of fact, I had the red flags and I ignored them. But this is not about that though, because here, I don't feel that. I don't feel like someone was out cheating, and I don't feel that. I feel like you may have been boyfriend and girlfriend, but something may have come in between that. Yet, really, it was divine timing because it just wasn't. I mean, it happened the way it was meant to happen. But now this is its divine timing. I hope I'm making sense because this feels like an important message. And with the high priestess being here, this is what you want to trust. Think of the high priestess as your higher self, and your higher self is always with you. Your higher self would be like, "Baby, we've been here before, we've done this before. We can't let certain people take us down. We're stronger than that." But sometimes we don't know that until we know that. So, long story short, I feel like two are coming back together. I feel like this is their divine timing. So there is going to be a need, which you probably already have, like the clearing of what maybe broke us up. Like, I'm hoping that doesn't affect like us coming together. I don't think it's going to. I really don't. Because I feel like once this begins, then without doubt, you're going to know I'm with the right person. You know, and I feel like a great way of closing this whole reading really is just to realize that our souls came into this lifetime with certain contracts. And when their time is due, our guides will do whatever they can to get us ready. And sometimes that means disruption, resistance, like so much so that I can't take it, that it almost forces a move. Though not everyone moves. But, anyways, my point was going to be as a soul, these lessons, especially the hard ones, our soul, it wanted to know, can I get through this? Can I learn this lesson? Because when I learn it for eternity. Eternity. So, this is a great reading to leave this on because this is about love. Listen, that was always meant to be, but in its divine time. And when is its divine time? Very soon. Very soon. Otherwise, I wouldn't be doing this reading. I don't read way into the future. My guides know that. I want to know what's going to happen soon, next. What do we need to know? What do we have to clear? What's going to help us understand what's next? All of that. And our guides, I feel like they beautifully support us. So I'm going to let this be, though. I love you guys. Let me know what you think, because your comments really determine whether I'm going to do this again in the future or not. But this was definitely divinely guided. So I know it's going to reach the ears that need to hear it, hearts that need to hear it. And that I trust, and I leave it to the universe. I love you guys. I thank you. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.